Hi guys, so this is Lachette from Scarlet Moon Creations, and we are with day one of the Ostara Witchathon. I have not just woken up, but relatively close. I'm still in my pajamas. Um, oh, my arm's already hurting. I I don't have any of my books yet. I haven't filmed my TBR. My plan for today is to go to the library and get the group read because that's the only book that has come in for the library. I am once again this year doing Beat the Backlist, which means I can't read anything that has come out this year. Only books that are on my TBR, and I'm not a person that has like a owned TBR. That I don't just buy books and not read them. I read what I own. There's maybe 10 books I own that I haven't read, and I'm probably gonna donate those. Uh, and if not, they're like reference books, so I have read them, but not cover to cover because I don't need to. Anyway, um, so yeah, I've been up for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half now, finishing up Let's Talk About Love. Finally, this book took me on a roller coaster of emotions, so my face is a little puffy from crying, and that has nothing to do with this readathon, but it was for I picked it because of the representation and was still surprised by how much I identify with Alice. Um, but anyway, so I finally finished it, and it was as wonderful as I expected it to be, and even more so. Um, One thing I want to say though for the Ostara Witchathon, I was late picking out my books, so I haven't been buying new books. I've just been getting stuff from the library, and that's fine. But so my books for my TBR haven't arrived yet. My goal for today, like I said, is to go to the library and pick up at least the one book that has finally shown up, and another book that is not for a Witchathon. I don't think I have, yeah, I don't have a book for the prompt with flowers on the cover because apparently that's really difficult. I might read Pride for that, even though I started this book for Blackathon and I wasn't liking it, so I stopped, but I still have it. So I might include that. So I just thought I'd say that here. I don't know. So yeah, pick up the book from the library. Hopefully fill my TBR. This week will be filled with reading. This vlog, obviously. Um, I plan on decorating for Ostara, changing my winter decor to spring. You might see some Marvel watching since my brother's coming over during the Witchathon to watch some Marvel movies. And maybe a glimpse at an altar. I've said this the last two Witchathons and have not gotten in there. Um, and maybe some herbal talk. If I don't read Pride as my book with flowers on the cover, I want to get a new herbal book, either a witchy one or a general one. This year I've been doing a lot of herbal medicine work. So you might see a little bit of that, which I think is appropriate for this particular Witchathon. So yeah, here we are, day one, Monday the 13th. Whatever happens, I will start reading the group book. I keep saying the group book because I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now. But I will start that today and we'll see what happens for the rest of the week. Alright. Bye, guys. concrete plant park. It is very windy, but sunny, and 67 degrees. That's not normal for right now. I thought it was warm yesterday. It was like 54 or something like that. Um, I have like my hoodie. I bought a light one just in case. I'm wearing this with 3/4 sleeves, and it's thin, but not super thin. And just in case, because I thought today's weather was gonna be like yesterday's, I brought my wool cape thing as like something to cover up in because it was windy yesterday as well. And it's like I could be wearing shorts and sandals right now and a regular t-shirt and be perfectly comfortable. I'm kind of upset I didn't check the degrees until after I walked out the door, but it's okay. I may or may not stay out here longer than I originally planned, but I need to eat. I bought snacks, but not food, and I have to walk back home. So we'll see. I will give a more detailed update later, but I'm reading When the Moon Was Ours still update, but I'll try to pick it up because I got other stuff to read for this challenge. I'll see you guys later. Alright, hi guys, this is Lachette. This is Saturday. I did like film a whole update for a Friday night, but I didn't like it. Well, the lighting or anything. So I'm just gonna say everything over now. It was like midnight anyway, so Saturday. I finished When the Moon Was Ours, and this is the first of the Witchathon group reads that Rhiannon like recommended and put as one of the prompts that I'm disappointed with. I just there was little to no plot, and I guess I'm realizing that I need that. The plot that was there seemed really pointless and very dependent on the magical realism and me suspending my disbelief, and I couldn't. The Bonner sisters just seemed really unnecessary, just completely unnecessary, and like literally, what are they there for, and what why I just found myself like, what the fuck, every time they were on scene. And Miel's roses, why? I'm disappointed we don't really find out what they do, or I don't know. But like, just all of that didn't seem germane to the story. Like, I don't understand why it was there, and therefore there was build up with all of this that kind of got resolved, but it wasn't really, and therefore it wasn't really important. I was just upset because I do like the other parts of the story. I like the writing. And Anne-Marie McLemore, I will try Wild Beauty still, because that was the first book of hers I thought I might give a shot. But it's very atmospheric, very descriptive. Like, I can, it's again a very sensual book where I can see the colors and feel the textures and smell and taste the flavors and all of that stuff. So I really enjoyed that. I like the cultures, real backgrounds of the town, of Miel and her family, of Sam and his family, And I like the two main characters, Sam and Miel. I like their, kind of finding themselves, figuring out who they are as individuals, as a couple, as, part of their families. That was all super interesting. It's just whoops, the rest really took away from it for me, and that made it really upsetting. So, thank God this is over. Um, I started Norma Jean last night. I think, yeah, I'm halfway through the first section. So this is, like I said, a biography about Marilyn Monroe, whose real name is Norma Jean, and I forget what her real last name is. There are, how many parts to this? 6 parts. And with the index, it's 363 pages. So part 1 is basically about her childhood. It's very interesting. I wasn't expecting how her mom and her grandmother lived their lives in the 20s. That I think they would have been more frowned upon. Also, like, this is very much going into the sphere of she, meaning Norma Jean or Marilyn Monroe, might have had, I will have to look it up, but both her mother and grandmother were manic depressives at various parts of that spectrum. I am not an expert on this kind of thing at all. This author does kind of talk disparagingly about other biographers and journalists who have, done stories about Marilyn Monroe while she was alive and after she was dead. And they just kind of sensationalized her life before she was famous in very kind of disgusting ways. And I personally am not like, oh my God, I love everything about Marilyn Monroe, but I always found her to be an interesting celebrity figure. And not having been alive during her time period, I'm not very influenced by too much of what her life was about, but I always wanted to read more about her, and coming across this apparently acclaimed biography of her in, I think it was a Goodwill. I was like, let's do this. I don't read biographies often, and I would like to, but I always kind of like push them to the side, hence this being out of my comfort zone. But it is so far written entertainingly enough that even if was not like a real person, I would read it. So yeah, so far so good. Today I'll show you a little planting montage, and if I can, I'll squeeze in some altar montage. But I'm definitely gonna read this Houseplants for a Healthy Home. Just before I get into the planting part of things really quickly, this is like less than 200 pages, so this will be done today definitely, and then I'll have 2 books done, and I hope to get through half of this today at least. And then I didn't include this, but I went to the library yesterday as well. I had another video to upload, and I got my last 2 books for the challenge arrived. So, Charlaine Harris, Midnight Crossing, that I mentioned. I still don't know what this is about. Like, the description is very, very, very vague, but I'm willing to go into it. I read the Sookie Stackhouse series, like I mentioned. This does not look as silly as the Sookie Stackhouse books were. So I watched True Blood, and I love True Blood, but for completely different reasons than I like the Sookie Stackhouse book series. Um, the series is cute and funny, still gory as hell, but it's a little it's a lot less serious, I guess you could say. Midnight Crossroad looks to be more so. The description just says, welcome to Midnight, Texas, a town with many boarded up windows and few full-time inhabitants, located at the crossing of Witchlight Road and the Davie Highway. It's a pretty standard dried up western town. There's a pawn shop. Someone who lives in the basement is seen only at night. There's a diner. People who are just passing through tend not to linger. And there's a new resident, Manfred Bernardo, who thinks he's found the perfect place to work in private and who has secrets of its own. So, I mean, people who live in basements only seen at night, and I don't know, this it's just very foreboding, isn't it? So this is my warm location book, and the book I'm most excited for, Burn Bright by Patricia Briggs. I love this series, the Alpha and Omega series. I love Charles and good lord, and Anna. I almost said Amy because Norma Jean. But anyway, so I got this. I'll talk more about it when I start reading it, but oh my goodness, let me tell you guys, I already started reading it because I have no shame. Um, so we'll see if what order I actually read these in. But I do want to do Norma Jean because it's out of my usual wheelhouse, and I don't know how long it'll take me. We're already on day 4 of this challenge, and I've only read one book. I am absolutely sure I will read 3. The House Plants book is definitely going to get done today, and Burn Bright will happen because this is the book I want to read, and I'll race through it. It's the other 2 I'm not 100% sure about, but I feel good about them. Last thing I want to say, though, I decided to join Zodiacathon. So look forward to that TBR. Zodiacathon is from the last day of Witchathon, March 20th, to the 26th, I believe. And yeah, so even if I don't finish all of these books, I won't have time right after the Witchathon ends because I'll be jumping into a whole new set of books based on the prompts that are for Zodiacathon. Why I did this to myself, I don't know, but it seems appropriate as a witch who is interested in astrology and who has been studying astrology to join into some astrology stuff as well. So I will see you guys for the next book update. The way this is going, I might have less montage, less outdoor stuff. Oh, I forgot. I did complete twice the Read Outdoors challenge, as you saw. So that's also done. But yeah, that's my update. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hi. So planting will not happen today because I realized the dirt I have is old and somewhat useless. But altar cleansing setup stuff will occur starting now. This is what I'm working with, and this is what I need to tidy up and fix. So let's get started. Okay, so halfway done, I've cleaned off my altar space, and let me show you. So here we are. Top level, didn't really need to do much. This is like candle storage, candle central. Um, Straightened up a bit here. I might move, add stuff around, who knows. The big deal was this level, which was crowded and dirty. I had spilled a pile of incense somewhere, and then this is a stain from unsafe incense burning. No, this was a candle that actually exploded its container and burnt my tabletop. And more recently, I'd spilled some ink and didn't realize how much. It's to the point where this jar won't move. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I scraped it off. I'm not going to paint it right now because that'll take forever to dry. But I'm just going to like cleanse and consecrate the space and then put stuff up, and then I'll do some decorating over here. You might recognize that as my background, but for most of my videos. So yeah, let's get to part 2. And here is the finished altar space. And filming area. I waited to film this until today because it got too dark yesterday. And yeah, so I have my currently reading and to be read books up on that shelf there, but I think I'm going to move them to this bedside shelf I have. And I don't know what I'll put there, but I definitely have stuff I can. So yeah, that's it for this day. Back to reading.